Hello there, Brick Fanatics. The end is nigh, by which I mean the end of 2023 is in sight and a lot of LEGO sets are about to retire. Now that we are into the fourth quarter of 2023, a lot of the LEGO Group's internal retirement dates for a lot of LEGO sets are more or less set in stone, which is the date by which they stop manufacturing new stock, stop sending it out to retailers, and therefore the date at which these sets are a lot more difficult to get hold of. Some of these sets are going to disappear sooner than December the 31st. Some of these sets are going to hang around a little bit after December 31st, depending on various different stock. But this list covers many of the most noteworthy or crucial sets that you might want to consider getting while you can, because after December the 31st, 2023, the LEGO Group will have officially definitively stopped producing more, and so they are going to become a lot more difficult to get hold of, and if you are so inclined, a lot more difficult and more expensive to purchase on the second-hand market. Now, the full list of sets retiring at the end of 2023 is very long, so you can go to brickfanatics.com and check out the full list in its entirety, but for now we're going to cover 25 of the sets that you might want to consider purchasing if you have not already done so while you still have the opportunity. Before we launch into the list proper, make sure, if you are purchasing any of these sets, that you use the link in the description down below, which takes you to the Brick Fanatics website, where you can see all of the latest deals on all LEGO sets, not just retiring sets, so that you get the best value for your money. Also, if you are going to be purchasing any of these from lego.com, make sure that you use the affiliate link in the description or on the QR code, which is on screen now, because doing so helps to support the work that Brick Fanatics does. If you go via the affiliate link, you help to support us because we get a little bit of a kickback when you make a lego.com purchase. It just helps to support the work that we do. With all that in mind, let's launch into the list of the 25 sets that we think are the most noteworthy that are going to be retiring at the end of this year. 75342 Republic Fighter Tank. Prequel sets are thankfully a bit more plentiful now than they were a few years ago, but some are still going to be more difficult than others to get hold of once they've retired. Republic Fighter Tank is an excellent example of this because it's got those wonderful purple uniformed clones. 187th Legion, apparently. I did not know that off the top of my head. So, if you want the 187th Legion clone troopers, you're going to need to get the Republic Fighter Tank. This is probably going to be the last time in a while that we see this, because as the LEGO Group releases more and more of these clone troopers, they tend to give us a different marking style or a different battalion every time, just for the sake of variety, and so that we've got a wider variety of different clones. 21325 Medieval Blacksmith. One of the most interesting and perhaps most nostalgic of the LEGO Icon sets in recent memories is the delightful little medieval blacksmith. It's a set that pairs very well with the larger castle, the Line Knights castle that we have. This is a great set for fans of Husky Dogs, because there's a great one in the set. For those who love the old school castle theme and the swords and sorcery that comes with that, or just anybody who really enjoys colourful buildings, because it's got an absolutely beautiful roof. So definitely a big loss with this one retiring. It'll be well worth snapping up because it's probably only going to rise in value on the second-hand / aftermarket. 7640812 Grimald Place. This is one of those Harry Potter sets that kind of bucks the trend a little bit. It's not uncommon to get kind of architectural / building related Harry Potter LEGO sets. But this one, with its unique hinged design, which allows for 12 Grimmauld Place to kind of naturally slide out into the open, does make it something of a bit of an oddball in all the best ways. Because of its rather unique design, this is popular not just with LEGO Harry Potter fans, but also with anybody who likes to collect LEGO city buildings or build their own little LEGO city. It's an excellent little facade to add to a collection, and while it's not maybe as fleshed out as some of the modulars, which we will be getting to, it's definitely proven very popular. So with this, as with any other LEGO set that's particularly popular, it's worth getting it while it's readily available before it starts being hoarded by people who just hang on to it and hope for the value to rise and rise and rise. 76989 Horizon Forbidden West Tall Neck. It's always difficult to predict exactly what's coming in the future for LEGO, but certainly the Horizon LEGO experience feels kind of one and done. The tall neck is here, it is going to disappear soon, and when it goes, probably the chance of getting another Aloy minifigure goes with it. This being the case, this is almost certainly going to be one of those sought-after collectibles in years to come, especially because of that tremendous Aloy minifigure, which, by the way, is pretty spectacular with a custom hair mould and excellent printing all around. This is definitely one that you'll want to grab while it's still available. Now it's time for the modular building section of this video, and if you've already seen our video on modular buildings, this might not be a surprise, but here are the three that we're going to lose at the end of 2023. 10255 Assembly Square, 10270 Bookshop, 10278 Police Station. All of these modulars are a loss because they're fantastic sets, but of the three, Assembly Square feels like the biggest loss of the lot because it is literally the biggest loss of the lot. Assembly Square feels like the last of the old guard for these modular buildings, the last one with maybe a more muted colour palette before things started getting more vibrant and colourful and expressive. And to a certain degree, it's sad to see it go, but also there's been so many wonderful new modular buildings coming that it was only a matter of time before this one had to go. 10497 Galaxy Explorer. This Galaxy Explorer is of course an update to the much older Galaxy Explorer, which is still to this day highly sought after among collectors, and so it is not going to be a surprise if the same thing happens with this one. It's made with modern build techniques and it's expanded and enlarged, but it is fundamentally the same ship and people love it. And yes, it's retiring, but it's not going to disappear from the public consciousness anytime soon. People are going to want this for years and years to come, even after the LEGO Group has stopped manufacturing more of them. 10276 Colosseum. The Colosseum is not for everyone. It takes up a large amount of space, it's quite expensive, and it's a repetitive build. But that said, it is for some people. And it's kind of sad to see it go just because of the scale and the grandeur of the thing. But it's definitely one that if you're on the fence about getting, just bear in mind that you really need to make that decision or just lose it forever. 10266 NASA Apollo 11 Lunar Lander. Oh, now this one's a loss. There aren't a lot of the NASA sets that really work as kind of contained and dense display pieces, because of course you've got things like the Saturn V, which is very, very long, and it's difficult to figure out exactly how to put that on display. But this one, it just sits so nicely on the shelf. It's got such a wonderful look to it. It feels like the real lunar lander in terms of its design, like it's very accurate. And there are so many cool, neat elements in here in colours that we don't normally get, which just makes it, oh, just heartbreaking to know that it's going. So definitely, if you've not picked it up, you know what to do. 31132 Viking Ship and the Midgard Serpent. With the arrival of the Viking Village this year, it's kind of a surprise to see the Viking ship disappear, but if you are a fan of old school Vikings, it's well worth having one of these alongside the Viking Village, just because they work so well as display pieces together. Who's not going to enjoy that? 42111 Dom's Dodge Charger. It's a sad time for fans of the Fast and the Furious franchise in LEGO form, as we're losing a couple of Dodge Chargers in quick succession here. The Technic one is the larger, the meatier, the more substantial of the two, and the one that kind of is more aimed at adults, and it's going to be a shame to see it disappear from store shelves, especially as we're getting more Fast and Furious films in the future. Fast and Furious film franchise. Fast and Furious film franchise. Fast and Furious film franchise. It is far too difficult to say that frequently. Speaking of the Fast and the Furious, we are also losing the smaller, more budget-friendly 76912 Fast and Furious 1970 Dodge Charger RT alongside the James Bond car 76911 007 Aston Martin DB5. These two are sets which, it's a surprise that they're going so quickly because they are just nice little, relatively inexpensive sets that can be picked up by car collectors or by kids who are fans of these films. And the intimation when they were revealed initially was that we would be getting more film licensed cars in the future in the Speed Champion series. And that being the case, if this is the start of a collection, if you're going to want to collect these, it's important to get the first two while they're available, because once they're gone, it's going to be significantly more difficult to complete a collection. Also in relation specifically to James Bond, while we are getting more Fast and Furious films very soon, we're probably not going to be getting another James Bond film for a while, as the Broccoli family kind of resets and reinterprets what they want to do with the character now that Daniel Craig is definitely done. That being the case, we might not be getting any more James Bond LEGO sets for a while, so this is it if you want something that is 007 related. 71038 Disney 100 collectible minifigures. Now, assuming that you've actually been able to get hold of some of these, they're not going to be on store shelves anymore. But it might well be that your experience, like for many LEGO collectors, is that they were just never on store shelves to begin with, because these things just disappeared. It was a lot easier for previous waves where there was a Disney store that would also sell them and sell them in copious amounts. But yeah, they're just gone. If you've not already got one, tough luck finding them, I think. 71774 Lloyd's Golden Ultra Dragon. Among the Ninjago sets retiring this year, this is one of the more interesting ones for several reasons. First off, the fantastic selection of minifigures, because they're all just brilliant and colourful and fun and golden. Second off, because of the dragon. This is the largest dragon that we've ever had in a Ninjago set, and it's got those 3 heads and it just looks brilliant. So yes, there are always more Ninjago sets. This range is not going anywhere anytime soon, but at the same time, you don't always get them at this scale with this many scales. 76832 XL15 spaceship. Okay, no, you didn't see Lightyear. It's fine, nobody saw Lightyear. Even Chris Evans probably didn't see Lightyear. Tim Allen definitely didn't see it. He was busy in the fat suit for the Santa Claus or something. But leaving aside the specific film that this set is tied to, this is a brilliant little spaceship build, and at a time where we're losing quite a few nice little spaceship builds, this is a relatively cheap one, which is fairly easy to get hold of because nobody saw Lightyear, and it's worth grabbing while you still have the opportunity. Also, for the one person who is a fan of Lightyear out there, whoever you may be, it is worth bearing in mind that these minifigures are probably not going to turn up in this form again. You're not going to get another sad Chris Evans Buzz Lightyear minifigure. The next time he shows up, he'll almost certainly be Toy Story Buzz Lightyear again anyway. 43197, the Ice Castle. Now here's a set that it's always been kind of difficult to tell who it's for, because on the one hand, the size and the scale of it suggests older LEGO fans with more disposable income, but on the other hand, it's got mini dolls rather than minifigures, and a large portion of older LEGO collectors just refuse to touch a mini doll on principle, even though LEGO Friends is one of the LEGO Group's biggest selling themes. Just in case it needs to be said at this point, it's okay, you can touch a mini doll and you're not going to burst into flames. It's alright, these things are fine. Like, yeah, they're not quite what you wanted, but they're fine. They're going to be here forever. But not, apparently, in Ice Castle, which is retiring. 75573 Floating Mountains, Site 26 and RDA Samson. Just as a heads up, all of the LEGO Avatar sets are retiring at the end of this year. And that's not a huge surprise because apparently everybody went to see Avatar 2, and yet nobody's really mentioned it since. And a lot of these Avatar sets are already kind of bargain basement or slightly cheaper reduced LEGO set level at the moment, because I guess it's difficult to shift this stock. It's a weird one, Avatar, because genuinely people, like everybody went to see this film, but nobody talks about it. And regardless, if you want the funky, lanky, long Avatar minifigure legs, now is the time to get them, because this particular form of them won't disappear anytime soon. We've still got, like, Dr. Robotnik / Dr. Eggman uses these long legs, but otherwise, the easiest way of getting them, which is with these Na'vi minifigures, is going to disappear soon. 76957 T-Rex Breakout. Considering that dioramas are apparently all the rage, it's weird that the LEGO Group used them so sparingly. This is one of the most recognisable of the non-Star Wars dioramas that comes with like a little quote on it that the LEGO Group has on their roster of sets at the moment, and it's going to be a shame to lose it. It is of course that wonderful iconic moment in the original Jurassic Park where the T-Rex eats a guy off the toilet. Spoiler alert. It's cool because it's brick built rather than the large chunky moulded elements for dinosaurs that we get from most of the Jurassic Park sets, and so for that reason it is going to be a bit of a shame to lose it. So if you are after it, now is the time to snap it up. 60314 Ice Cream Truck Police Chase. Let's be fair here, LEGO City sets are a dime a dozen. There will always be more of them. They will always be basically along the same themes. There's always criminals in the LEGO City because apparently the crime rate is just through the roof. There will always be police to chase them. This just is this kind of the standard. So there's nothing there that's going to be particularly a big loss with this set. But in this one, the criminals are dressed like ice cream cones. And that's great. So for that alone, this one is worth mentioning. 60398 Family House and Electric Car. This is actually quite a fun little build, and it's one that will be keenly felt, especially as the LEGO Group has been exploring recently, adding more and more kind of living spaces to the LEGO City theme. We've been getting a lot more apartment buildings and downtown areas, and this as a standalone house, which is a detached building, is a bit more of a rarity, especially with all of the modern features that it has in it, with like electric car charging and solar panels on the roof, and this delightful greenhouse. So it's well worth anyone who does like the LEGO City buildings just keeping an eye on it and just being aware that it's not going to be around for very much longer, because it is genuinely a nice little set. 31203 World Map. The largest LEGO set in terms of piece count currently on the market, and indeed ever, is about to retire, and with it goes the opportunity to just plaster an entire wall of your house with a large-scale map of the world made out of tiny little studs. 41704 Main Street Building. Again, yes, maybe you're not the biggest fan of mini dolls in the world, but look at the buildings, look at the variety of different colours on display. This is a really vibrant and interesting set. And for those who do like building cities and who like to work with sets at different scales, this is going to be another one that is really well worth having, and one that's probably going to go up in price quite quickly just because of the sheer amount of interesting ideas that are on display. Finally, 21188 Llama Village. Have a look at this delightful set. Look at the fun llamas. Look at the little llamas. Look at the big llama. Look at it's just llama fun. Llama fun. That then is our list of the top 25 sets that are retiring at the end of this year. Bear in mind that a lot of these sets are going to disappear sooner than that. Bear in mind that some will stick around longer than that on store shelves, just depending on stock levels and the exact moment at which the LEGO Group stops manufacturing them. But certainly by December the 31st, the LEGO Group will not be making these anymore. So if you are interested in any of these sets, this is your final chance, unless you want to go out of your way to spend significantly more money buying it from people who are selling them secondhand or on the aftermarket. This being the case, let us know which sets you're the most interested in grabbing before they're gone. Let us know any that you feel that we've missed off of the list in the comments down below. Make sure that you go to brickfanatics.com in order to see the full list of all of the LEGO sets that are retiring, just in case we've missed out one that is your particular favourite, so that you're aware of what's going to be disappearing. Also make sure that you give this video a thumbs up, hit the notification bell and the subscribe button, and just generally have a lovely time LEGO hunting, because we're getting into that intense pre-Christmas period where everything's a little bit more hectic and you never know what's going to be on store shelves and for how long. That being the case, happy hunting, have a lovely day.